Hello everyone, welcome back to another Deck Tech edition with Goofy Gamer, aka Mr. Money. I'm showing off my black-green Aggro-Control deck deal. It's pretty cool. With the green splash, it allows me to get some reach for the flyers. It allows me to sideboard in some other enchantment removal type stuff that the black just doesn't have. So we'll get started with the mana, which I am running 10 swamps, 4 temples, and then 10 forests as well. And then I'm not trying to run too many forests, but I do want to see them when I need them. Sometimes I'll have 3 or 4 forests, but that's not such a bad deal, especially since I want my Boon Satyr to come in whenever I need him, and he's my only double green. But we'll go in order. So the 1-drop is the Sedge Scorpion because of the Death Touch, and there it is. I mean, just a solid 1 green Death Touch creature. And then 2 drops, we have the Baleful Eidolon, 3 of them. Because I don't want so many of them because of their, it's 2 to cast and then 5 to bestow. I only really need 3 of them, and then those work really well with the Leaf Crown Dryad because I can put the Baleful Eidolon on the Leaf Crown or vice versa, and that'll allow me to take out a significant amount of flyers, and then I'll have either a Reach person or a Death Touch person afterwards, and then also the Leaf Crown can go on the Sedge Scorpion as well, and that just works. We're running 1 Nylea's Presence for its cantrip ability as well as its mana fixing for if there is a situation where I only have 1 swamp in play and I have multiple forests, I can drop this on a forest and that'll give me what I need for casting of my double black. Then we are running 1 Pharika's Cure for just about any deck. I don't feel like it comes into play very much against, let's say, the mid-range, the red-green monster mid-range, so I would take that out during that particular matchup. I'm running 2 Read the Bones, and then only 3 Agent of the Fates. He's not doing as good of work in this version of the deck that I want him to, but he still does come in handy, especially with the double black devotion. And of course 2 Heroes Downfall, because that's what I have. If I had 4 Heroes Downfall, it would be 4 Heroes Downfall, and I would figure out something to take out and put that in. I'm only running 1 Boon Satyr for flavor, and also the Bestow with the Flash. Can't really beat that, especially if you put it on the Agent and then block with somebody. Takes the Agent of the Fates up to a 7/4 Death Touch. And then, of course, the Night Howler combo is always great. And I don't know why it shows up as an M still. I guess they just don't like that art being in there. But yeah, any of these Bestow creatures going on the Agent just makes everything gravy. Speaking of Bestow, we are running 3 Eberos's Emissary for the creatures in the graveyard trick that goes with the Whip of Erebos. 1 Reaper of the Wilds, also for flavor, and she's a Gorgon, so she'll survive against the Hythonia trick and also against the Keepsake Gorgon trick. And also the abilities are really great. 1 black for Death Touch, and then 1 green and 1 colorless to gain hexproof until the end of turn. So that can save her in a lot of different situations. Also, I'm running 4 Gray Merchants because you can't play a black deck without Gray Merchant, in my opinion. He just saves the day in countless occasions. Then I'm running 3 Nessian Asp just because of the reach. The monstrous ability is okay, it's a little overcosted, but once you get to 5 mana, 7 mana isn't that bad to get to. And it does work well with the Whip of Erebos because you'll get four from it, and then it's also higher cost. So that's what makes the whip so much better, is that you can get anything out for 4 instead of having to pay its original cost, even though it does exile at the end of the turn. And I'm only running one Overlord, just because this deck doesn't really call for more than one. But if it did, that's where we go to the sideboard. We'll bring this over here. And for the black matchup, I have this pretty much all black cards coming in, and also Fade to Antiquity. I have 3 Fade into Antiquity into my sideboard because of the exile instead of destroy. It doesn't really matter that it's a sorcery speed, because most of the time on my turn they have already cashed out all of their mana. And I mean, in the event of a Erebos, God of the Dead, they would have to go ahead and cash out all their mana to draw their cards to counter this. They would draw out their cards and then let it exile before it goes away. I'm running 2 Shredding Winds for the Storm Breath Dragon. He is definitely one of my biggest threats, and then also in the mid-range, the red-green monsters is definitely my biggest counter matchup. So really it would just be the Shredding Winds, and then also the Overlords. I have 2 Overlords in the sideboard for the mid-range, and then also for the mono Black Mirror, and then 2 Disciple of Phoenix for the black matchup. And then I'm not really so sure about the Farika's Mender. I included it in the sideboard for its synergy with the Whip of Erebos and Eberos's Emissary. When she enters the field, whether it be from the Whip or from my hand, I can return a creature or enchantment from my graveyard, and then that works to fuel the Eberos's Emissary. So we got 2 here, 2 there, 3, 3, 1, 2, and 2. I can't really think of anything else that would go in this deck really well. I did try an Arbor Colossus, but the 3 green mana was a lot harder to come by than I anticipated, so I ended up cutting him. Mainly this is a black deck. It's a black shell with a green splash on the outside parts of it. Who doesn't like a little green on the outside? But I thought I would share this with you, and maybe if you had any additions that I could make, or anything that might be in my sideboard that shouldn't be there, or anything that's missing, give me a little shout out and give me just a little help in trying to make this work and make it go as smoothly as possible. I noticed that just with the black deck, I was just having a lot of trouble with gods and artifacts, so I decided that green was the way to go. And here when Born of the Gods comes out, that's going to be even better, because this Fade into Antiquity will turn into some disappearing into ether, or some it's a 2 mana, and they shuffle their enchantment or artifact into their library. So I'm looking forward to getting that and putting it in this deck, because it'll just be Funville for everyone. Also, yeah, when that comes out, then I mean I could save my artifacts given the chance to. But well, that's all I got for now. Like I said, if you have any additions or subtractions you'd like to mention, let me know in the comments, and everyone have a great evening.